Arsenal 0, Chelsea 1. Mertesacker with a stupid red card in the first half, Diego Costa with the goal, and strangely enough, not a whole lot else from a game that ultimately could decide the title race this season. You would have expected a bit more from Chelsea given the 10-man advantage, and Arsenal had a crazy tactic against a counter-attacking team of sending Flamini and Ramsey flying up the pitch.
So now seems like a pretty good time to talk about two of the most interesting questions in the Premier League this season. Can Arsenal win the Premiership, and why are Chelsea so crap? First, Arsenal. On the face of it, they seem to be mounting a real title challenge, but are they actually any good, and can they keep it up? Well, they've been pretty great. Goals don't predict the future very well because there are so few goals in football but so much information that goes into them, so they're not that useful in the short term to tell us how good a team is. But shots do give more information, and Arsenal are one of the best shot teams in the Premier League. Shots on target then give even more information than that after a few games, and Arsenal again look very strong there. But expected goals, which tells us the quantity and quality of shots, matters more than just quantity of shots on their own. So how do Arsenal fare there? Well, they have the most expected goals scored and the best expected goal difference in the Premier League this season. Not only that, but goal impact, which measures the contribution that a player has to how good a team is, and if you aggregate that, then it's another way of showing how good a team is based on all of those players' past performances, thinks that Arsenal are most likely to win the league this season. Sanchez, Özil, Giroud, Walcott and Ramsey all have exceptional expected goals plus assist numbers, and Walcott and Özil have some of the best goal impact scores in the whole world. Cech is a world-class keeper, Bellerin continues to go from strength to strength, and Coquelin has been great, and while he's been out, Arsenal have not imploded. Yet. So why won't Arsenal win the title? Well, the first reason is that they always post great numbers. They are a great team usually until January-ish, and then February comes around, the schedule's getting more difficult, they get loads of injuries, and those numbers start to unravel. Will that happen again this year? Yes and no. I mean, this is entirely subjective, but I think that Arsenal have more strength and depth this year than they usually do. If Cazorla goes down, it's not that much of a problem. If Walcott goes down the same, any of their back line can now be replaced. I mean, Gabriel has shown himself to be a fantastic deputy. Ospina, I think, is better than most people give him credit for. But there's one guy that really can't be replaced. Someone who I made a video on that I should probably plug around now. Someone named Mesut Ozil. It won't surprise you that every year Ozil tops shot assists per 90 for Arsenal. And this year he's even better. He's the spark that drives performances, but he's only gone from strength to strength in terms of those numbers. That sounds great, right? Well, obviously yes, but if he goes down, there is now a greater gap between Özil and the rest of their team than there ever has been. If he goes down, Arsenal lose a huge portion of their creativity. And then the second reason why Arsenal might not win the title is Manchester City. Kompany, Toure, Aguero and Silva are magical players who very, very rarely play together. If they get 5, 10, 15 games in a row where City really rack up those wins, I think it really, really strongly diminishes Arsenal's chances. A few weeks ago, there was an amazing StatsBomb post predicting the rest of the Premier League season, and in all models, most of which are much better than you or I at guessing who will finish where, Arsenal come out as a very, very strong team. If Arsenal don't manage to win the title this year, I don't think fans should turn to the structural problems, that it's a manager issue or a player issue. They are genuine contenders this year. So if I'm really putting my neck on the line, will Arsenal win the league this year? Maybe. Time for some Chelsea analysis, which I've purposefully avoided this season because, to be honest, I don't really know. So in classic Joel style, I'm just going to regurgitate some of the work of people that I think are much more clever than me. Usually when a great team fall low, you can see that in the numbers, it's not really that bad. When Juventus were losing loads this season, their numbers still looked pretty good, and it's no surprise to see that they're now doing fantastically in Italy. When Dortmund a few seasons ago, in the year that Klopp left, were like bottom of the Bundesliga, their numbers again were very good, and it's not surprising to see them bounce back and be really competitive now. Chelsea have been genuinely terrible, or at least they were genuinely terrible until about 4 or 5 games before Mourinho was sacked. They're now around 4th by expected goals, and it looks like in terms of their expected goals difference, their expected goals for, and their expected goals against, they've been pretty unlucky this season. According to Michael Cayley, who is the brilliant analyst whose expected goals model I'm using and you should be following on Twitter, Chelsea's problem is probably not that they're not getting great shots off. I mean, they're not getting many great shots off, but they are getting some off. The problem is that those shots don't happen to be hitting the target. Is that some sort of systematic thing that's going to continue? Is it random variation? I'm tempted to say that it's pretty unlucky over just it's a huge systematic problem at Chelsea. And we can go before the shot too. We know from Dustin Ward's brilliant StatsBomb articles that passes into the 15 yards surrounding the goal are really special. Using these types of passes to rate teams is repeatable and it links very well to winning in the short term. And by this measure, Chelsea have been doing pretty well so far this season. So it looks like Chelsea are building up reasonably well. I mean, not fantastically, but the step before the shot, which hasn't seemed to hit the goal at the moment, they're doing okay. And the other way round, they also don't allow opponents that many danger zone passes. So they were crap, they're now a bit less crap, but why? Here are some possible reasons. One possible reason is that Chelsea, never rotated last season. Their top 6 regulars played over 90% of the minutes, their top 10 regulars played over 80% of the minutes. Maybe this ruins some of their key stars, or maybe not, but either way, it's very worrying. Terry and Ivanovic played 100% of Chelsea's minutes last season, and this season look a lot worse. Eden Hazard played 99% of Chelsea's minutes last season, and now his production looks terrible. But my favourite reason for Chelsea being crap is a little bit more complex. If they were 5th, maybe we could say this thing went wrong. You know, they played too many players. Some of their players dropped off, so they've dropped off from being champions to outside of the Champions League places. But as Mike Goodman, who is the best stats writer out there, and if you're not following him, what are you doing with your life, has noted, for them to be 14th, for them to be mid-table, bottom half of the table, everything must have gone wrong. The manager, the pre-season, the ridiculous dressing room controversies, the players like Matic becoming crap overnight, not signing John Stones and targets like that would have helped this season. So have Chelsea been as bad as the table suggests? I think the evidence suggests a no, but they have been genuinely actually bad, unlike Dortmund and Juventus in the recent past. I've got lots of YouTube and charity and personal and football updates to give you, but I won't give them to you now. There'll be an update video on probably this Tuesday or Wednesday when I'll say that kind of stuff, but until then, my new charity fundraising page is in the links in the description below. If you could click that and be the first person to donate, that would be absolutely incredible, but you'll hear more about that later. Otherwise, please like if you enjoyed this analysis, subscribe for more in the very, very near future because I'm back from exams, and I'll see you later.